or UFC comfortable. Just round people up. Have to be has device. You see what the Eagles is doing? Talking about how we needed to make it from Jurassic Park. I mean, they have great battles and car shows and we're working on our next spot.
Right here.
But I was the first one to record Darnell. I felt like I was the next man. Hey, I'm not everybody in their mama. I know,
Yes. Once again, we back at it. Build and Destroy show. Yeah, you see the new setting. We on the off-site location.
Yeah, we on the Roseanne couch. Roseanne couch, baby.
Woo, well, we got some good topics to go over with you guys again today. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. We are up to 93. So appreciate everyone that's tapping in.
Salute.
We may have High Rise popping in a little bit later, but we're gonna run through some things that we have for you guys. You want to start off with the mass appeal props? So I think that.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, we've already identified mass appeal in their continued efforts to put out good, consistent projects from people that we know and love that help build this art form. Our latest offering that we've been feasting on is the Big L project, compilation of verses and just moments that help make people like me growing up, junior high school, coming across verses like that online help build my own style, and I'm sure a lot of other people out there. So shouts to Mass Appeal for hitting us over the head all year with project after project from legends. I enjoyed it.
So with that, the Big L joint in particular, how many tracks was on that?
I'll look for you real quick. It was enough to be a good, if you have a young artist coming up who's even heard of Big L and you wanted to figure out who this man is, there's enough content on there to get fed. But of course, if you're a Big L fan, this is going to leave you wanting more.
No.
We got 16 tracks, with track 16 being a bonus track.
Now, are any of them joints repurposed? Are they anything that you've heard before?
Yeah, I've heard things like doo-wop freestyle, Stretch and Bob freestyle, numerous radio show freestyles. Other ones were, I guess what people call lo-fi recordings, like basement style recordings. Yeah, some of these we've heard, a lot of them being acapellas or over beats, and some of these haven't been touched. After listening to it for the first time, there's a few of them that are still original, but I'd say touched up, probably polished or remastered maybe.
What about so production wise, there was no like remixes. It was mostly repurposed joints that have been out.
It was that mixed with some new production as well.
Okay.
And then there's skits and like I guess vocal features to help kind of thread it along. So I heard Joe Budden on one of them at the beginning or end of a track. You can kind of tell these people are getting asked to put some words
Jump
to
on.
it. Yeah. kind of commemorate him or let people know what he represented or what he was for us.
Okay, well,
And then, you know, there's some features on there. So, all in all, I'm happy that Harlem gets to celebrate Big L, you know.
what features is on there? Because that seemed like that would be a pretty big moment for any MC, even if you're already established. I mean, to get on that's like getting. I mean,
some of these, I mean, it's up to people to judge for themselves, but there's neighborhood folks like you got McGruff, Nas, Earl Holden, Method Man, and then you've got names like Mac Miller, you know, Joey Badass, Donald Finazzi, Fergie Baby.
so that's quite a few.
Yeah, mix. I think something like that, like I said, having certain amount of material available, there was help needed to flesh it out and make it, you know, a full meal. And I guess that's the props that Mass Appeal deserves is, you know, it's not like you just find it's not like you find a hidden album that's just ready to go, turnkey.
Yeah, you got to put that shit together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got these pieces, and now you have to literally produce and executive produce.
Now, who's with Mass Appeal doing that? Would Nas be considered the executive producer on something like that?
I haven't looked into that, but
Already reached maximum. Oh.
I feel like just conceptually this whole thing, whether it's true or not, I've gave him that credit just in my mind for whatever reason, as far as like brand awareness. I hear Mass Appeal and I think of him, and I feel like he is very involved with creative endeavors with Mass Appeal.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I think of Mass Appeal, I just think of Nas. I don't
Yeah.
know who works there. I think of that as a company that I know when they had first came out, there was something about the way that they structure their deals that it would be, you know, potentially a better option for artists that aren't necessarily just doing straight independent, but want to get a deal and want to get signed. But yeah, their structure is supposed to be with the masters and publishing a good deal and opportunity for artists. And then I think at some point they just was like, you know what, I know all the old school artists that are still active, and yeah, I could just picture in my head Nas just making all the calls like, you guys.
Yeah, to be on the projects themselves, to me, that's a deliberate choice. That's not. I don't think that's somebody saying, "Hey, Nas, you should be on these." I picture him being the young version of him, looking around like, "Yo, I have an opportunity to be on my heroes' projects." Like this is a double. It's so many wins for people.
Especially, yeah, I think about the Slick Rick joint because I know Nas really likes Slick Rick. Like that's big for him. Like he's using his power and influence to essentially do bucket list shit at this point.
Yep. Mobb Deep. To me, like I said, I'll have to look for myself and see how involved he is on paper and credits and stuff. But in my mind, I've built him as, you know, just like a good curator of a museum, because Mass Appeal, I hold it like a museum, like a boutique. The way I hold them in my headspace, I guess. I treat them like a refined space. Like I still go there and watch Rhythm Roulette on YouTube. That's been a staple for, man, I don't know how many years.
That's the producer joint, right? Where
Yeah.
they pick out records.
Yeah, there's these little, like with any YouTube page, there's subcategories or different playlists. And yeah, I've always liked how they run their stuff. And they have the work that backs it up.
No, again, they get nothing but props. The 2025 run has just been like historical. If you think about all them artists, I mean, you got 2 that's posthumous already. You got Prodigy on the Mobb Deep joint, and then the joint we was just talking about as far as Big L, like that's 2 joints featuring deceased artists, and I mean, I think at a certain point, especially with the way that the internet works nowadays, like those are big deals probably for their families. I mean, just historically, they're gonna live on for longer because them putting out these projects now and giving them another breath. And I mean, because the youth, the new listeners, like some of these youth are starting to come back and listen to some old school stuff. I mean,
I would say that too. I would say that it's cultural preservation while dropping current things too. They're grasping, I guess, the ideal. You want to be able to capture the youth and the old heads. In Mass Appeal, they do it simultaneous. Like Stone's Throw, they do that. There's certain labels that they understand that, and the way they curate the label and what they tolerate to be on their label is great, man. There's like the quality control is so good that you don't notice it, But it's really hard for a label to continuously put out great projects one after another. There's usually a lot of pressure within labels to, produce that. And we're not even talking metrics, we're talking about just hood metrics too, like stuff that the streets likes and endorses and accepts.
Yeah, the critically acclaimed stuff.
Yeah,
well, the hood critics.
Yeah, we got 2 sets of billboards. You have the white man's billboard chart, and then you have, the streets.
Yeah. No, I guess the last thing I would say on that, just the whole Mass Appeal run, is it's only November 2nd. So there's 2 more months left. Do they have more projects on the agenda?
Yeah, I told Trish that this morning. I don't know if I read it or is it subconscious, but I feel like the cherry on top will be Nas and DJ Premier.
Oh, yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's like I don't know, it's the climax of the movie. It's deep down what every Nas fan has wanted since they first heard DJ Premier and Nas on the first album. Like, it was an instant marriage.
And that, I guess, has been done.
Like, yeah, they've revisited each other time and time again because of that. again, it's listening to the streets. And the streets want this like they want their birthday cake.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, ultimately, it's art, but we are in a capitalist society. So I mean, artists have to make money to eat and buy food and pay rent. You know, they're at the top tier of that, but in the sense that they don't have, you know, there's not like a retirement plan. There's no like health insurance and medical benefits for rappers and producers. Like, if your catalog ain't, you're not getting checks like that no more, what other choice do you have outside of going to get another job? Is to drop a project.
Yep.
And at least they're doing it in an essence of crafting quality projects and not just trying to throw something out there to get some money in, you know.
Yes.
They're being very strategic about it, and the touring that's gonna and already happening on the back of these releases. Like, it's very strategically planned. So I would say if you are enjoying any of that mass appeal product, check your calendars for the tour dates for them artists. You know, I doubt Nas is going to be going on tour with DJ Premier, but you definitely will see Slick Rick do some shows. You know, De La is still performing, you know, having a guest fill in for Trugoy. So like, it to me, it's a fact of them just having to continue. Like, you have to, whether you're thinking about it being for the fans or not. Like, there's no other choice but to keep rocking.
Yeah. That's what I feel about with the Rhythm Roulette on Mass Appeal YouTube channel. You know, back then you could have been narrow-minded and watched it and been like, alright, like, there ain't really nobody else to put on here. But no, they've done a great job at putting very well-known people on there and people that are on the cusp. You know, people that are bubbling under the surface, and all skill levels, all different status of being known. And yeah, they run it the same way all across the board. They keep chugging along, and they're the silent plug for hip hop purists.
I think that show also, I think it brings that original element kind of onto newer, because that show, I mean, it's based on sample. Like, you got to find records, and producers producers nowadays, you know, might not even understand that concept outside of doing it like a Puff Daddy, where you're just really remaking a old school song, not the, yo, I'm gonna take this kick from this karate movie, and then I'm gonna take this bass line from this old jazz record, and then, you know, the difference in how production is now to what you had to do back then is just, you don't have to use samples. And to me, that show, it forces, it should be like a requirement for producers. Like, you got to watch this show to at least learn the process of what it was like to find records, and what that means. Unfortunately, I think that the capitalist side of it, it has an impact Because when you're digging for records as them old producers, like, you're just trying to find shit that no one else knows about. Like, that's part of the creativeness, is you're trying to find something that ain't nobody used this before.
Yeah.
And it sounds dope.
Yeah.
And that, I think that concept, it has a possibility of being lost without something like Rhythm Roulette, you know, reconfiguring and re-going over this same format for newer generations to check out and really understand.
Me too. I like even people like A-Rap Music. I liked his episode when he's like, man, I don't really touch vinyl. I haven't really used it, but I'll grab some CDs. They let him pull that off, and I was like, oh, man, he's like breaking
the rules.
I felt like long arm of the law of hip-hop and shit, and then I watched it, and he chopped it the same. He did his thing, man. Same outcome as always, man. Like, not everybody on there kills it under pressure like that, but I wasn't mad at the end because it made me realize no matter who's on there, they're going to have to chop it live in front of these folks and show them how they cook it. And yeah, you can't, it's something that you can't fake or pretend, because if you do, it'll be on there.
Yeah, and I mean, you pulling something from a CD, I mean, what's the difference between, you know, pulling something from a VHS tape or...
Yeah. Oh
like,
no, shouts to Oh No, his episode. He's a gamer, you know. He plugged up the Nintendo 64.
Oh.
And he threw in the wrestling game and sampled the kicks and the punches, and then he threw in the NASCAR game, and he's putting like torque wrench sounds in the beat and making it gutter and raw.
Just like you said, that end result,
yeah, hip hop
is a beat for someone to get on and spit, and it'll sound nasty.
It's exactly what they call it nowadays when they say cook. That is what's happening. Because these ingredients, man, some people that don't cook, they just see a bunch of random stuff on the table, and then you got these real producer chefs, and man, they're serving up dishes personalized too. If they're real good, they're like, man, I'm working with this guy, I'm gonna serve him up this personal style for him, like I already know his palate.
Yeah. That's fire. I can get into producer talk, and I ain't a producer just because I enjoy it. I really appreciate that concept and what it really means to make them beats from that old ass equipment that is like 4-second sample time, and it's hella, the sample quality is hella gritty to where you could sample the CD, but when you pull it into using a certain sampler, it automatically downgrades and compresses because of the hardware that you're using. So it's like the limitation factor, to me, it shows the level of creativeness and ingenuity is beyond just someone's musicality on making the music, but
Yup.
and you gotta think, a lot of them pieces of equipment back in the day was expensive. So that's a whole nother side of thing of how you getting some money to get this equipment.
Yeah, a lot of people, they want to put themselves in these ideal situations to be creative or to spark creativity, but most creativity comes from lack, not having something in order to create something. So sometimes what people are running from is the ingredient to create, and sometimes that is, it could be isolation for some, or silence, just for people that are out there doing things and they get into these funks, try to do the opposite of what you normally do and just see how that effect is. Because normally, my joke is that, my favorite artists, they usually make the best art when they're going through something, like some personal issue stuff. And then when they're kind of happy, I feel like the art kind of loses a little bit as a fan. But I don't know if there's something to that, but I firmly believe that you need a little bit of shit going on. And then you make it into your fertilizer kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely something to say about the turmoil that an artist goes through, and how having shit going on in your life versus everything being smooth.
Yeah.
What that can do for your creativeness.
Or kind of depriving yourself from certain things, to make yourself. It's kind of like when you go hunting, right? Like traditionally, you don't really want to eat food when you go out hunting. You kind of want to go out there with these sharper instincts, because no food in your belly. Your eyes
see clear.
Yeah, your eyes are a little bit wider, and your sense of smell is a little bit on point. It's kind of like that with the art. You got to kind of deprive some of these things that are I like how A-Rex on the podcast back then, he called it like the mental masturbation type stuff. Like, you got to abstain from certain things like that, I feel like, in order to let creative juices build up and to use them. I feel like it's all bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
So you could like run too much programs trying to get influenced or inspired, but you actually need to close some programs in order to be able to run your creativity program.
Spider on the end of the mic stand.
So yeah, don't burn your stuff out with the stimuli, y'all. Just know when to sit back, chill, and absorb.
All right. Well, what's up with this big three? Who the big three of the female MCs in the game? I mean, I feel like the first two might be easy, but I don't know. I want to hear your opinion first.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that would be tough, because I was like, man, I don't want to do of all time. I just want to be like, man, who's now? Like, if you just take a snapshot right now of the internet, kind of out of those names, even if you don't like them, who is that? And I definitely have Cardi up there for the sake of relevancy, just recency bias stuff. But I do like Bia. I feel like when I heard her song with J. Cole, London, when that one came out years ago, I heard that and I was like, yeah, I like her. Her new album, she goes through so many different voices and styles and just forms of musicality. I gave her full props. But yo, I liked her since the London, just how she flipped the words. The last one, I've been waiting for somebody to fill the spot. I had Nikki in there, but she's been bugging. I don't know how to separate. I don't know. The older I get, the harder it is for me to separate the art from the personal stuff or the shenanigans. And like, I want her to be up there, but she will be until I can think of a different name. But whether her crash out's justified or not, my folks don't behave like that. The people the people I look up to and respect, they just don't. So even if you do rap cool, like, for me it's not enough to be the best. Like, for me, it's always been a full package deal that comes with being something like that, GOAT or legend. To me, you gotta have like multiple aspects that are lining up to be that. Like you don't become that just off one skill bar being maxed out. You gotta be like upper 90s and a few skill bars.
I feel that. You can't just have all strength and no speed and no agility.
Yeah. So yeah, for now.
What about Rhapsody?
I do like Rhapsody. I wanted to put her in there, but I didn't want to disrespect Nikki's on the. Like, I'd be scared she'll call us out just for even talking about it. Like, I'm putting her there because I'm scared. But Rhapsody, you know I love you. Doja Cat, absolutely super rapper. Coyle Ray. They're like my level of rappers for females.
Well, I know this isn't necessarily
but the big three, right? The big three, like the Drake and the Kendrick and Cole, I would have it at Cardi and Nicki, and I want Bia to be in that space now because she's earning her way, whether she gets millions of views or not. She has the qualities.
So what? So as far as the big three, what does one need to do to elevate how Kendrick did, to where now he put himself at the top, and through the last year and getting the Super Bowl, and he's at the top now.
Yeah. I don't know if his was a culmination of the decisions that he's made throughout his life, or if it was something he stumbled into and just was able to react, respond and react, I guess. I'm not sure what propelled him other than, of course, the battle or whatnot, but he's always been that. He's been on simmer his whole life. Like, I feel like at any time he controls his own heat setting, and he knows how to keep it bubbling, and he knows when to kick it to max temp. Because there's times where he has just stood back. So I think you gotta master timing or understand and respect timing and the clock. I know there's this joke about black people always being late, blah, blah. You can make those jokes about time, but just understand it doesn't require you to believe in it to be here and exist. So just learn time and master timing and understand the power of, months or minutes. Or that's why everything he does seems so magical, you know what I mean? It's just, it ain't magic. It's just him making deliberate, calculated decisions and having some control in his world. Cat Williams is like that. These guys are revered just for having control of their own thoughts and morals. So we can all do that. We got to be able to deal with what comes with that because those guys get challenged and they obviously deal with that adversity, but it inherently makes them stronger.
So going back to the female side of things, let's go with Bia. What would something like a battle straight up benefit her, or what types of things do you think could help elevate her to put her solidified in that big three to everyone?
Yeah, she's had that. From what I gathered, she's had that offer, and she's deliberately not going that route. She doesn't want to be associated with beef and doesn't like the idea of females beefing anyways. So she has been in the scuffle like a year ago, maybe more, but it sounds like she's one of those ones that wants to make it without that, which is definitely the harder path to choose.
100%. The beef and the controversy, it
Mhm.
draws attention and it draws eyes. It's like a easy way to get attention, but yeah, I feel it's almost, to me, it's somewhat of a, I don't want to say a cheat code, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes the beef is just contrived just for that purpose to get the attention, whereas if you're just trying to assert your dominance, that's different than trying to create a beef with someone to get some attention, you know. So I think, in that asserting of dominance, you're always going to get people that are going to beef with you because they're going to disagree with what you say, which actually this brings me to another topic.
Oh yeah, before we leave this topic, Dochi, I'm sorry. You're there, but you're kind of an alien, say, in your own space, because you're that special. You could just do the Dochi route too and just be real good at rapping and performing. And just, Dochi's kind of good at everything. So I'm sorry, Dochi, I love you too. You're in there.
Well, we'll keep it on the females at least.
Cool.
But I'll shift just slightly outside of hip hop on this topic of dominance and the Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali controversy tension.
Is that manufactured or is that real legit smoke for one another?
Well, I mean,
or is that like, again, is that like Nicki when she came out and she's mad at Lil Kim or Lil Kim's mad at her? You know, like this old school versus new school generational beef.
Well, I don't even think it would even I think it was really just Clarissa Shields talking shit nonstop. You're like,
oh, just bringing. Did she say her name?
Oh no! So the best thing about this is Layla Ali wasn't saying shit for years, and she started up a YouTube page just to address this shit. and dropped 2 videos in part 1 and part 2 going through the full history, and she got the clips like it's the real receipts. When you say the receipts, she brought the receipts, and I'll be honest, I was definitely fucking with Clarissa Shields, especially with the whole Papoose and Remy situation. I supported her, and she is, at the top of boxing right now as far as women. Mm-hmm. But when you watch them 2 Layla Ali videos and you see the real history on how it went down, and the turning point being literally her being on the Breakfast Club talking about books and whatever else she got going on, and her being like 40 something at the time, and the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne and DJ Envy, they always trying to poke something. So you ever feel like coming back into boxing? And she's like, nah, not really. There's nothing out there that challenges me. There's no reason for me to go back to boxing. I've accomplished what I needed to. And that was it. Like, Clarissa Shields took that. Oh, so she don't think I'm good. I'm the best. I'm in the weight class she fought in, so she don't think I'm good because she's saying ain't nothing out there. So she's essentially saying she could beat me up. And it's like, that's not really what she said. She's a 40-plus-year-old woman. She's on a radio show promoting like a cooking book or so. I don't even know what she was promoting at the time. But they just asked her, do you ever want to go back to boxing? And she said no. And of course, they want you to give more context. Well, why not? Well, you know, you were great because I'm fucking 40 plus. Nigga, I'm not Bernard Hopkins out in this motherfucker.
Right.
Like, it's not normal to be this old still trying to box. And yeah, from that point, the receipts that she had, it just made me really question my support for Clarissa Shields. Like, it just really made her look like a girl that's just talking mad shit. She got in her feelings a little bit over that interview. She wasn't even talking to you. She actually gave you props in that same interview, like 5 minutes before they asked her if she wanted to come back to boxing. And yeah.
So it sounds like bullying in a way.
Oh yeah.
I heard her rapping. I didn't hear the rap, but I heard it. She be rapping about beating people's ass. Like, she's like, I do it, and you've seen it, and I'll do it right now. She's kind of one of those knuck if you buck. And man, if she's going that route where it's like, yo, I know karate, and I'm just going to go out and fight everybody. To me, that's not using your skills wise.
Well, I just thought that when I think back, like, she just talks a lot of shit. And I mean in boxing, that is kind of normal for all boxers to just talk shit, that they're the best and I'm going to beat everybody up. But what makes it weird is that you're talking shit to a retired boxer that's been retired for a long time. Like, that's the weird part. And
yeah, people are always going to think that it's just money grab stuff when it looks that desperate.
I mean, that's got brought up in the whole situation about this.
That's if Ali's entertaining it, of course.
Well, that was part of the thing. Is it was some separate interview where someone's asking her, "Hey, do you plan to come back?" And she's like, "No, I'm done boxing." And then they're like, "Well, what if they offered you $15 million?" And she's like, "Well, you know, that much money, I would actually have to think about it. You can't just, I mean, that's a lot of money." So, I would think about it for that much, but no one's offering me that much money.
Yeah. And
then they turn that right back around, send it to Clarissa Shields. She does a whole video with a Godfather mobster round table of people with all her belts on the table, talking about now we got the 15 million. Like, it made me question myself on.
Well, Clarissa, if you do want to do all that, you better let her get ready, man. Like, she can't just put her gloves in the car and go drive out to you. She got to get her body.
She ain't about to fight her, though.
Like, yeah, you got to be. That's somebody changing their whole life. Just one day for you. Or for millions. Millions or not. You're asking somebody to stop life and just change life.
Yeah, ultimately, it made me question myself and my judgment of character and discernment. I guess that's the appropriate word. We live in a day and age where everyone has a phone and has a page where they could say whatever they want, and it's on us as the consumer to discern the true character behind who's talking. And yeah, it made me question my ability to do that when I'm watching people online, and whether I'm really being a good judge of character or anything of that nature. So,
and Papoose, you better not be the one gassing her up like, yo, go get her, baby. Like,
nah, because I mean, I actually think
or is he just supporting his woman, you know?
Yeah, he's just more of laid back and gonna support you, what you do, what you're interested in. And if you want to go on the talk maximum shit mission, then he's gonna be there. And you know, if he tries to feed you some bars, that's the other thing. Rapping, everyone can't rap, even if they even if I give you the bars. Everyone can't do it. So you don't have to take your time to go and listen to no whole song. You can judge it pretty clearly, pretty easily. Keep boxing. Don't rap. Because, yeah, it's not for everyone. All right, well, shoot. Might as well take our halftime break a little bit early. That'll maybe possibly give a more potential for High Rise to pop in. Unless you want to jump right into our... I think we only got one topic left. What do you think?
Yeah, we should do one more little quick take.
All right, well. What do you know about, or what do you have to say about the government shutdown? Because that was on our topics for like 3 weeks ago, and we never really talked about it.
That we're in the day 38 or 39, I want to say. Yeah, that something like that, you gonna feel this sting, and if you don't, you gonna know somebody that does. It's stuff that you just can't really insulate from. It's one of those things where you could stay in your house or your comfort shell bubble that you live in, but certain things like this, everybody gonna feel it and deal with it. And what I've seen locally, at least, is a lot of people coming up with creative ways to help sustain each other in the meantime. I see a lot of people using their grant funding and a lot of food banks collaborating with each other.
Yeah, so my 2 cents, I don't want to go too deep because I think I might over. Like you said, you don't want the barbs coming at you. I don't want the alphabets coming at me. IRS, FBI, whatever. What I will say is this. The U.S. government is great at spending money, but they're not great at spending it efficiently. So part of the reason why I think people forget to take a step back and rewind. Part of the reason why the government is shut down is because every so often they have to vote on a budget. Like you would make a budget for your house. You know, you make this much amount per month, say $3,000 a month. If your rent is $1,500, your car note plus insurance another $5 or $6, your food. So you figure out how much your expenses are for each different item. And if you stick to your budget, you have X amount of dollars left over to put to savings or for your entertainment or whatever you do with the extra money after you pay off all your bills. The government has more bills than they have income. So we don't make enough money. The tax receipts are not enough to cover all the money that we're spending. Then you get to discussions of raising taxes. Oh, let's just tax the rich, tax the billionaires, tax the trillionaires. The facts are even if you tax them at a super high percent, we're still spending too much money. That's still so the Democrats and Republicans is arguing over a budget that is going to be more than we make as a country no matter what. Like, that's just the facts. And it's part of funneling all of our energy as workers to rich folks. Not necessarily in particular corporations, but the corporate structure as it sits. People over a certain income threshold make money off of assets and the increase in value. So someone on the low end, when prices go up on your home, that also means your taxes go up on your home. You might have to move because you just can't afford the taxes. Even though your home didn't change in size, it's us spending so much money, putting so much money into the system. The money has to go somewhere, and that means prices on everything goes up. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So all your eggs, when eggs was at $12, that's from us as a country spending more money than we make. And what do? We have a printer. So we just print more money to cover the difference. That's where inflation comes in, because we keep printing more money to spend more money that we don't actually have. And now the politicians are fighting over it. Some say we need to stop spending as much. Some is like, you know what? We just need to spend more. We can't cut these programs. And I think there is a middle ground. There's no definite right or wrong. But facts are facts. If we go back to first base principles, if this is a house budget, we need to base our budget on how much our income is. That's called balancing the budget. America hasn't had a balanced budget in like 20 years. So it's not a Republican, it's not a Democrat, it's a politician thing to where these motherfuckers can't stop spending money because they're sending their homies money. But yeah, I could go on and on this. Shout out to Eitri in the Chiznat. What do you say? Sound like me.
Yup.
Too many bills, not enough income.
Yeah. And look, that's who we learn it from, right? So you look at what's going on around you. You look at the macro, and it's happening on the micro level, man. Like, we following what we've been seeing for a long time.
Well, I think that was a good side topic to pull out of the hat. I'm going to pull up these joints here. We'll go for some halftime flavors. Let's see. We'll do new devices. What's that one? 5, 7. Trying to calculate to 10 minutes, and my math is not mathing right now, so we're just going to select all of these joints. And if we come back early, we'll come back early. Let's come on. My computer is not operating right. There we go. Once again, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going into the halftime break. About 10 minutes. We be back at ya. And then finally the screen like started staying on. I don't know why it kept turning off. My next step is to get a pad with the sound. forgot this one had a little outro on it. Had a little outro beat.
Could bring up the weed one for sure.
Yeah, yeah, we're back. Yes,
We did
E3.
one. We
Yes.
did one, E3. We got one. One recorded.
Well, really, it was just me having to do the verse that I could not finish when me and High Rise was here last time. I had the block, the writer's block. It caught me, but I finished it up. Came back and it was a quick knockout though. I knocked that shit out pretty quick.
I agree.
All right, well, shoot. Once again, hey, this is the Build and Destroy show. We're here every Sunday around 5 p.m. That's Pacific time if you're somewhere other than on the West Coast. Please tap in, share with your friends. We want to build the community. This is hip-hop, history, and current events, and just really folks sharing their true and honest opinion on the state of the world. And we'll have guests every now and then. We ain't got a guest this week, but we do have a guest next week who's Wojak LaFlave next week. So I guess for our last, well, can't say last, but definitely we got to touch on this topic here, this weed-induced psychosis. Why don't you fill us in on what this really is? Because I don't.
Man, something like that can only happen with the algorithm. Whatever I consume online, I don't know. This channel one day popped up. I can't remember the name of the channel. I've only watched like 2 or 3 of them. But it keeps covering different cases of the same diagnosis. And basically each episode starts with somebody talking about how they ended up in the hospital. And it's because of the weed, getting high. Some of them hadn't smoked and then finally tried it, and then it happened. Some of them had smoked before, and then just this time it suddenly happened. But a lot of them end up doing some wild shit, man. Getting locked up, killing stuff, like doing the most. Almost, it looks like all of them come out rehabilitated and better. But after seeing these, my mind was just going like, man, have I ever heard or seen of anything like this until now? Like, I don't remember growing up seeing people really bug out after smoking weed. I remember people getting kind of really hyper paranoid, not wanting to really be around people. But a full-blown psychosis episode, I couldn't. Is that a case of it just wasn't being diagnosed? Or is it we are smoking on stuff nowadays that's nothing like the former years?
That's my thought.
Are we really putting stuff in our body nowadays that is messing with people's like fucking up neural networks and neural patterns and stuff? I seen a case where one dude, he fully snapped. You know, he ended up shooting the dog and killing the dog. He thought everybody was out trying to kill him and murder him. There were these things that happened all in his head that he was living out in his head, but he was doing those in real life. And by the time he was caught and apprehended and all that, he's looking around like, why am I even here? I don't even know what I did.
So, is there any locations where these incidents are happening more often?
No, the ones I watched were in different states.
Yeah, because I would think probably up here in Washington, just the industry in that is just more solidified and has a longer history, I would guess.
Yeah, and stuff like that never tells you enough, right? Like, so you don't know where he got it, where it came from. You don't even know what kind it was. So I guess I'm just saying I'm not sure how to feel about it, but I feel bad for people like that have chose to experiment with weed, and then their body just didn't agree and they lashed and flipped out. But I also feel sorry for the youth just not being able to. It seems like it's not worth it to experiment when stuff like that is a gamble. Because again, I just didn't hear of anything like that happening in the past. It seemed like grass was something you could try and either like it or not and kind of put it down. But perhaps these new strains that are definitely unlike anything that we've seen before, perhaps it's more AI than, organic grass. Maybe it's a little bit more digitized.
I don't know about digitized, and they
Like,
just throwing some extra shit up in that shit to make it stronger.
Yeah.
It's just like what they do with all the other drugs. That's how this whole.
Like, I just picture a lot of digital equipment being used now and it looking more like a science lab than a garden.
Yeah,
That's what I picture.
yeah. They're creating instead of growing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think ultimately that's one of just the cons of human existence is our intention or trying to create shit. And when we create shit, it always ends up being negative impact. I mean, I can't. That was a bad statement. Everything isn't always a negative impact when we create stuff. I'm just thinking more like, think about like the switch from glass bottles to everything being in plastic. Like your milk used to be in a glass bottle, like everything was in glass or cans, and then plastic was so revolutionary. Now everything's in plastic. But it's to the point where now we got microplastics in our blood. And it's like we didn't have the foresight to see or to think that creating this new technology, so to speak, of plastics could have had a harmful impact. And I think sometimes we do have to at least recognize like maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe maybe we should stop using plastics, or just thinking about it in a more holistic manner on from start to finish. How is this going to impact us? What are the pros and cons? And if the cons outweigh the pros, then we shouldn't do it. And I don't think we really tend to have those types of discussions and debates on, if we go this direction, what are the possibilities that could happen if we go that direction? And that should help us decide what direction we should go instead of just driving. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolute.
Yeah, because I like you said, I don't never remember nobody flipping out over some weed. Now,
It was when things were laced.
I was gonna say now that I know factually a couple people that their minds went south after getting laced, but that's some other chemical that someone's adding in. That's not the main organic ingredient. So
Yeah, just if people are gonna partake, it's still like any other product out here. You're entitled to look at ingredients and see how these things were made, where they came from. There's still responsibilities to do as consumers. But if you want to play the blind game, you could do that too.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was speaking as far as if there was any location specifics to it, because I think specifically now, like the the ingredients and the labels on stuff, they all have the QR codes to where you could click in and get the more in-depth information on pesticides and all that type of stuff. Whereas I don't know if it's to that level in other places. They might not be testing anything. It's just you get your license and you could put whatever you want in your package. But definitely be safe if you're out there experimenting and consuming in cannabis products or any other products for that matter. People on these diet pills, and the new thing is this Ozempic shit for people to lose weight. Like, again, it's something that we done made up. The pharmaceutical industry made up. The shit wasn't even for weight loss, it's for diabetes. But now we're just using it for weight loss. Like, that's sometimes we got to think about things in the common sense approach. This drug wasn't even made for weight loss. It was made for diabetes. But now people are just taking it to lose weight. You don't think there's going to be any side effects to that? I mean, at a certain point, like you said, as the consumer, some responsibility has to be on you, on what you're putting in your body, what you're deciding to do. If you want to shoot yourself, take a shot to the stomach once a week or however often they do it to lose weight, that's on you. Like, they're always going to come up with something to give you the quick fix. We're in the quick fix microwave society,
and the side effect always needs another thing.
And it's something that they can make, that only they can make for you.
Yeah.
Look, I know you got fucked up off the last shit we gave you, but here's the cure to that last shit we gave you.
Yeah, I know they do that.
They had the cure ready.
Yeah.
Because they knew they could sell it. It was like they selling something double. They selling something different, but they know you have to buy the second thing once you buy the first thing. So you're buying both. But, that's the society we live in. As long as motherfuckers want the cheap fix, someone's going to give them something, that cheap fix. And the side effects, you got to think. Anything that gives you some sort of instant result or instant gratification, anything that is instant is probably not good for you. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Word up, word up.
Well, shoot, you got anything else you want to end with? Doesn't look like we're going to get high rise popping in, so I figure we can, if you got anything else to...
Yeah, just shouts to Seattle for having us later this week. We'll be out there laying it down in the rhyme form.
Yes.
And, I always get a pleasure just spitting them rhymes for the peoples.
Yes, so that is this Thursday, November 6th. We will be performing at Vermilion in Seattle. This is part of the tour of, let's pull it up here. It's the 10th annual Slap Frost Tour. Z-Man, True Justice, Vocab Slick, and introducing DJ Lady Queen. So yeah, it's pretty much a West Coast tour. They're running all up and down Cali, Oregon, and Washington. So we're there at that Seattle show next Thursday, November 6th at Vermilion. High Rise is the host for that, and we'll rock out a good little 3-song set, including the new joint that we recorded.
Yeah,
and we look forward to have you guys come out and check us out. All right, well, we're going to end it there. Appreciate everyone. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We want to see y'all back next week.
Later, dude.
In the chat.
Later.